Hi, my name is Jack Nozzolillo of the Westwood Media Center. Today we are lucky to have Coach Matt Sebet from Westwood Boys Varsity Hockey. As a hockey player myself, I am excited to hear what the head coach of a top-tier program and former All-Star from Westwood has to say about the past season and the upcoming season.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, Jack. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. So I just want to start off with asking you about so who's like the toughest team that you guys faced in past seasons?
Yeah, good question there. So obviously the Tri-Valley League, we face a lot of tough opponents in that league year in, year out. But I would say definitely over the last couple seasons, it's definitely been Canton, which is a non-league game for us. But they've certainly had our number over the last couple of years here. I think their record will show for themselves. They've only lost one game in 2 years. So I think they've a lot of people have had, or teams, should I say, have had problems with them. But it's always a good test. Always look forward to playing them, measuring stick to see where you're at. But, that's a testament to the program that Coach Schumann over at Canton, that culture he has over there, and just what he's also built through Canton Youth Hockey and what that has. It's something that we're trying to replicate here in Westwood. Been working a lot with the president of Westwood Youth Hockey, Ed Galvin. We're trying to get on that same page and replicate that so that, we have that success all the way throughout youth hockey in Westwood and at the high school level.
All right. Thank you. So after the season, you have lost several key players, including both of your goalies, who are both seniors. So how do you plan to address that the goalie situation next year and years?
Yeah, no, certainly some big shoes to fill there, and Ben and Jack. Obviously, those two guys have been the goalies for the varsity these last couple seasons, and then so moving forward, we do have two great goaltenders from the JV team that will be looking to make that jump up to the varsity level come next season. So, looking forward to seeing them. I watched, caught a lot of the JV games this season. They did a great job down there. They won their tournament that they played in over Christmas break. So looking forward to carrying that over to the varsity, and, they obviously know they have a big opportunity here. So looking forward to see the work that they put in this summer, fall, and see what happens when we get going next season.
You also lost one of your captains in Colin Fahey, and you lost another strong player in Johnny Bracco. So those are big shoes to fill. So how are you guys gonna handle that?
Yeah. So actually Colin Fahey actually is a captain. He's actually a junior. So we do have him back for next season. So that's nice to have him back, certainly. So one playing a role in the playoffs. So certainly, big, strong senior. That's going to be tough to fill that. And all those seniors, losing those guys, there's definitely some voids that we need to fill.
Yeah, so let's talk about the victory over Norwood that you guys had in the playoffs, beating them in overtime with a big goal from Nick Horsfall at the end. So how'd that feel to finally get over the hump and beat Norwood?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Obviously, it's a town lines touch, so that's a big rivalry there, especially now that they've come into the Tri-Valley League these last two seasons. And obviously they had our number, beating us twice in the regular season, 1-goal games. But what a lot of people do say is it's tough to beat a team 3 times. So luckily that held true. Obviously it wasn't easy. They're a great team. They have a couple really good top high-end players, some of the best in the league. And I think just it was a total team effort to get through that. We had that trust in rolling 3 lines, 5D, especially getting into that really paid dividends when it goes double overtime. And obviously, having this tie up at the very end, and then, having having Nikki score that huge goal, something special to be a part of. But that was awesome.
So you guys also had two freshmen on your team this year who gave you guys some good, strong play. So will you look to give them a bigger leadership role next year, Danny and Thomas Hamilton?
Yeah, so having Danny and Thomas come in were, definitely some pleasant surprises. Heard a little bit about them, but hadn't seen them play or anything like that. And, jump in and do what they did this season as freshmen was awesome. That's always, if you can get that, that's always an added bonus. Not a lot of teams have the luxury of doing that. And it really looking forward to what they're going to be able to do over these next 3 seasons coming up and gain all that experience this first year. But they all came in, they understand the game and think the game so well that, that's what I think made them successful at this level. I can't teach that. No one can teach that. They came in, they had that hockey sense. So, moving forward, we're expecting, a lot of both of them, and definitely going to be leaders coming, move forward.
Yeah. So other than the goalie position, how are you going to address losing some of your top D-men and a couple of good forwards next year?
Yeah, no, definitely. Every year we especially coming into this past season, we had graduated 13, so there was a ton of holes to fill coming into this past season, and again, losing some key forwards up front, and then especially on the defensive end and goaltending. That's the most important part of the game, keeping the puck out of the net and building out from defensively. So, we recognize that. I think we had some guys, some underclassmen especially, step up at forward, plus even on D as well at the end of the year. So look at those roles are certainly going to be increased next year. And then, saying we kind of touched upon the goaltenders that, they'll be coming up from the JV team. And then, there was also, again, that JV team was highly successful this past season. There's definitely some solid defensemen there that, again, they have a great opportunity in front of them to what work they want to put in over the summer and fall to get to that, because there's definitely some ice time and spots on the varsity to be won.
So you were a very good hockey player for Westwood yourself. So what interested you in coming back to coach your former program?
Yeah, no, I mean, I obviously grew up in Westwood, as you say, Jack. So, I remember going to Westwood High games when I don't even know, 5 years old, and all the way through right up to when I actually got to high school. So always something I had an interest in. I always looked up to those guys. So, any chance to give back or do anything with the high school, that was always something I wanted to do, and something I stress to the guys now. We always have some of the Westwood youth hockey teams come play in between periods. It's just a great thing for the community and for everyone to get involved in. So, when obviously I jumped right into coaching right after graduation in college, I started at the end, was coaching as an assistant coach, helping out both the JV and the varsity team. So it's kind of just a natural progression to where I am today. But, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, coaching anywhere else. I certainly love hockey, but love the town, love the tradition that we have here. So that's what intrigued me to, keep that going. So
There was Coach Mike Welby. He coached for a very long time, and I know you coached under him. What did you learn from Coach Welby that you can bring to the table now?
Yeah, definitely learned that those shoes are very big and really can't be filled. So from his track record, certainly has the best coach to come through and coach at the high school. And then following in his footsteps and being an assistant under him for 9 years, a lot of those same practices, same systems that he ran, for his 17 years as the head coach are pretty much in place here today. A few tweaks here and there as the game changes a little bit or anything like that, or, over the years that he always did as well. But back to that main base is still the same. So I just, from him, learned, how to get the most out of your players at all points. And, so far we've had a couple successful seasons. So hoping that continues.
So thanks, Coach. How would you describe your style? Is it like, do you run like a tight ship, or are you a looser coach?
I mean, we definitely expect a lot out of our student athletes. So, not just the hockey, there's, they got to be doing the right thing in the community, at the school. But when I think about my style, I like to say I'm a player's coach. I want them, it's their locker room. I want them to run that. That's something that I should have a meeting with the captains ahead of each season. And until, what we say is, hey, this is your team. It's your locker room. Don't let us, we don't want to have to step in here and change that. So I think giving that ownership to the team goes a long way. And we've certainly had two very tight-knit groups my first 2 years as the head coach here. So I think that has been working. But again, we certainly have tough practices here and there and things like that, as I'm sure you ask any of the guys, they'll say. But, they respond to that, and I think we were better for that at the end of the season. But I want them to, at the end, definitely wanted them to have it be their team. And then hopefully we don't have to get in the way at all.
Speaking of your captains, you'll be getting 3 out of the 4 back from last year. Does that give you an advantage?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I think it will. Having those guys back, it's a unique thing. It's not something that really has happened with this program. Obviously, there have been a few here and there junior captains over the years, but not necessarily having 3, and then obviously having Ben being senior. But that being a little different position as he was the goaltender. You're not, on the bench or anything like that. It's a little unique being a captain when you're the goalie. So those other 3 guys, they had a lot of responsibility, and honestly, it's a lot to ask of them being coming into their junior year. So, they responded unbelievable. You could definitely see them grow as captains as the season went on. So, really proud of them for that. Again, it's a lot of responsibility at any point for anybody, but especially when you're 6th year, that's a tough situation, especially when you have 8 seniors that are on the team as well. But they certainly did a great job. And, that's all that learning that they did wearing that C in their jersey, I think is certainly going to come next year. And so really looking forward to that. I think we have a really strong leadership crew there. So definitely think that's a positive moving forward, having those guys, all 3 back.
So you had both your goalies were they were both excellent for you. So how is it hard to balance the playing time was it hard to balance the playing time between Jack and Ben during the season?
Yeah, I mean, Ben was a really, he was obviously the goalie of the year for the TVL this year. He had excellent numbers as a junior. It's one of those positions, if you're the second best goalie or second on the team, the second line center, but if you're the second best goalie, it's a real hard position. But I cannot say enough good things about Jack Morgan. What an unbelievable kid. Came to the rink every day with a smile, always on. Whenever we asked him to hop in there, he was right there, ready for that call. True professional, honestly. So, I think he understood that role of where he was. And, he knew how good Ben was. So, Ben did get obviously majority of that playing time, but we knew we were comfortable if we needed to put Jack in there, which few times this season. So I think they got along excellent. They were both rooting for each other, which as a coach, I can't ask for anything more. So, they handled that situation extremely well.
Yeah, so speaking of that goalie of the year award, you also coached Nick Horsfall, who was a league all-star. What about Nick and Ben's play that got them to that level?
Yeah, I definitely both their work ethics and everything they've done off the ice over all these years. Certainly, that's why they are who they are and why they got recognized as that. Ben, as I said, 2 years, he was the backup when he was a sophomore. He learned, just being around, and he learned a lot from Justin Anderson, who was a starter at that time. And you could definitely see sophomore or junior year that Ben put in off the ice and everything he did that spring, summer, fall, heading into his junior year. And then obviously we had a really good run last year. Unfortunately, he didn't get recognized as much as I think he should have. He was, I think, the best goalie in the Tri-Valley League that season, but we had a really good team in front of him, so a lot of people didn't give him that credit. And then obviously showed what he did this year, especially with so many new holes coming into the season. He really held the ship together, and we never would have probably made the tournament without Ben this year. All that he did, he deserves everything he got because of that. And then Nick is an exceptional player, unbelievably smart kid that, awesome academically, comes from a great family. We've had a few of his brothers come to the program. And Nick, he's certainly right there. He obviously spends a lot of time at the rink watching them, and then doing all the work he's put in himself, playing at top level teams outside of the high school his whole life. And you can just see that now, how he possesses the puck in the game. It's just very different that you don't see every day. So it's certainly, psyched to have him back for another year or two. So.
Sorry. Once again, so about you said Canton was your toughest opponent. So what about Canton made them so great? Like, what does their coach do to prepare them, and how do their players show how great they are?
Yeah, I have so much Coach Schumann over there. He's built that program. He's been there for 15 plus years. Much like Coach Welby did. And he's really built it up. He lives in Canton himself. He has his son plays Canton youth hockey again. He's really put in that effort where those kids they strive to play for the high school program and play for their town. They pack the rink every time. Obviously, we share the ice house with them. We see what that hockey culture in Canton is, and certainly Westwood. We're a hockey town as well. Would love to kind of get right to that level that they're at. Certainly, I think we're not that far away from them, but that's a testament to him, the way he prepares he knows everything that's going to happen, the film that he does preparing for his opponents. It's always a test up to them. Obviously we've struggled with them these last 2-3 seasons. Before that, we did had the better of it for a couple of years there, especially in our run back in 2015 of the state championship, and a couple of years after that. So it does go in ebbs and flows a little bit, but that's one thing, again, touched on it earlier, just trying to really synchronize that with Westwood Youth Hockey to the high school level. Again, that president of Westwood Youth Hockey, Ed Galvin's doing a great job, and all that whole board there trying to get building up the Westwood Youth Hockey. I think it dipped there for a little bit, and we're starting to see it come back, and who's getting to us when they're freshmen, 14 years old, and there's some great coaches there. So there's no reason to not play with your buddies and then come to the high school. So that's something that, again, is a big initiative of my own, along with Ed and Westwood Youth Hockey to make the goal to come to play at Westwood. And I think that's what Canton's done a great job of. And again, they only lost one game in 2 years, so back-to-back state champs. So it's not get much better than that.
All right. Coach, I could go on and ask you a million more questions, but I think I should let you go now.
I'm here for it.
I think I should let you go now. Thank you so much again. I can't wait to watch the team next year and years to come. Hopefully I can play for you maybe 1 or 2 years.
I love that. That'd be great.
Just stay healthy, and I hope to talk to you soon, Coach. Thanks.
You as well, Jack. I appreciate the time and giving some light for the hockey team here. So certainly appreciate it, and stay safe yourself, to you and your family.
All right. Thank you.